universe is a cruel, uncaring void. The key to being happy isn't to search for meaning, it's to just keep yourself busy with unimportant nonsense, and eventually, you'll be dead.
Mr. Peanut Butter is a warm, enthusiastic, endlessly supportive, always smiling golden retriever. In a show where most characters are drowning in their own flaws, he feels like a breath of fresh air. He's the guy who says everything's great and genuinely believes it. But that's exactly the problem, because Mr. Peanut Butter isn't just positive, he's relentlessly positive. And over time, the show reveals that his optimism is suffocating. And more than anything, it becomes a form of emotional negligence disguised as kindness. This is the story of Mr. Peanut Butter as the case study in toxic positivity. Hi, my name is Christine and I make essays on movies, TV shows, and cartoons. And if this is something you enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. I'll highly appreciate it. Thank you. Mr. Peanut Butter's life starts with a kind of denial that sets the tone for everything that follows. When his parents die, his brother tells him they've gone to a farm where they can run free. And instead of questioning it, he accepts it, because he chooses the version of reality that feels better. From the very beginning, Mr. Peanut Butter is someone who avoids pain. He doesn't confront uncomfortable truths. Instead, he replaces them with comforting stories. And this habit follows him into adulthood, into his career, and into his relationships. When he becomes the star of Mr. Peanut Butter's house, his personality becomes his brand. He's the happy guy, the easygoing one, the one who makes everything fun, and in Hollywood that works. People love him for it. He gets opportunities, attention, and admiration. But here's the catch. When your identity is built on being the happy one, there's no room for anything else. So when real life gets complicated, Mr. Peanut Butter doesn't adapt to the situation. We see this clearly in his first marriage to Katrina. Even in small moments like the Halloween party, there's a pattern. Katrina asks him for something simple, "Don't leave me alone." And he agrees, but he keeps getting distracted, bouncing from one thing to another, apologizing and then doing it again. It's easy to laugh it off as dog behavior. He's easily distracted, but he means well. But intention doesn't erase impact. Katrina isn't upset because he's having fun. She's upset because he's not present. He doesn't actually hear her. His positivity becomes a way to avoid responsibility. His way of resolving the problem is just apologizing instead of changing his behavior. And eventually that marriage collapses. His second marriage to Jessica Biel follows a similar pattern. She criticizes him for taking every job offered to him, not being selective, and not taking things seriously. But instead of listening to that criticism, Mr. Peanut Butter brushes it off. And that's the core issue. Mr. Peanut Butter sees people as the version of them that fits into his happy narrative. And then comes Diane. And this is where the show really begins to dissect his character. Diane is thoughtful, introspective, and deeply aware of her own struggles. She doesn't just want happiness, she wants meaning. She wants to understand herself, the world, and her place in it. I already did a video on Diane, please check it out when you're done with this one. Mr. Peanut Butter loves her, there's no doubt about that. But he loves her in a way that's incomplete. From the start, he puts her on a pedestal. He sees her as this cool, intellectual, interesting person. And instead of meeting her where she is, he tries to fit her into his world. We see this when she tells him she doesn't like parties. His response isn't to explore why or adjust his lifestyle in a meaningful way, but instead he simplifies it like, okay, so you don't like parties, problem solved. But it's not solved, because Diane isn't just someone who doesn't like parties. She's someone who struggles with anxiety, identity, and self-worth. And these are the things that Mr. Peanut Butter doesn't know how to handle. So he doesn't. Enter Diane's birthday. Mr. Peanut Butter plans an elaborate, over-the-top day filled with activities, culminating in a massive surprise party. From his perspective, it's perfect. It's him being thoughtful and a loving partner. But Diane hates it, and when she expresses that, it leads to one of the most important arguments in the series. She tells him clearly that she does not like grand gestures, that they make her uncomfortable, and that they don't feel like love to her, and his response is revealing. He admits that he knows she doesn't love Starbucks, but he chooses it because it's convenient. He admits that sometimes he doesn't really listen. He just does what's easier for him. He prioritizes his version of happiness over someone else's reality. The bellroom incident pushes this even further. Diane once mentioned in passing that she loved the library from Beauty and the Beast as a child. So Mr. Peanut Butter builds her an entire room inspired by it in their new house. On paper, it's romantic, it's grand, it's the kind of gesture that people dream about. But Diane hates it because it's not about what she wants now. It's about a fantasy version of her that Mr. Peanut Butter had constructed in his head. He's not responding to who she is. He's responding to an idea of her that makes him feel like a good partner. And when she gets upset, he doesn't understand why. To him, he did something nice, so how could it possibly be wrong? And that's the danger of toxic positivity. It frames everything in terms of intention. I meant well, I was just trying to make you happy. But in doing so, it dismisses the actual emotional experience of the other person. The fights escalate over time, each one revealing the same underlying issue. When Diane wants to go to Cordovia, Mr. Peanut Butter initially discourages her. Not because it's a bad opportunity, but because he doesn't want to lose her. He masks this fear with positivity, convincing her to stay. Later, when things get difficult, he flips. Suddenly, he wants her to go. But it doesn't feel supportive, it feels reactive. Like he's trying to fix a problem rather than understand it. And when Diane struggles, or when she feels lost or unhappy, Mr. Peanut Butter doesn't really sit with her in those feelings. He tries to solve the problem or cheer her up or just move past it. But some things aren't meant to be solved quickly. Sometimes you just need to feel those feelings and just be heard, you know? Then he runs for governor, but the problem is he doesn't have any strong beliefs. He adopts position based on what's convenient or popular. He leans into optimism and charm instead of substance. And when Diane challenges him, especially on serious issues like fracking, it creates a massive raft. She wants him to take things seriously, but Mr. Peanut Butter treats it like just another disagreement that can be soothed over, but it can't. Much later, when Mr. Peanut Butter reflects on his past relationships, he notices a pattern. The women he dates starts out happy, vibrant, and full of life, but over time they become bitter and frustrated. For the first time, he asks the right questions. What if it's not them? What if it's me? Diane gives him a brutally honest answer. She points out that he keeps dating younger women who are still figuring themselves out, and instead of growing with them, he stays the same. He doesn't really evolve or confront his flaws. He just keeps being the happy guy. And his relationship with Pickles highlights his immaturity. Pickles is young, upbeat, and initially matches his energy perfectly. But when he cheats on her with Diane, everything falls apart. And instead of handling it with emotional maturity, Mr. Peanut Butter spirals into guilt and avoidance. He proposes marriage impulsively. He tries to fix the situation with another grand gesture. But again, that doesn't really address the real issue. Eventually, the relationship devolves into a strange attempt to even the score, with Pickles trying to sleep with someone else to make things fair. And it's just messy. Because for all his positivity, Mr. Peanut Butter doesn't actually know how to handle difficult emotions. Guilt, shame, conflict. He avoids them or tries to avoid them with something nice. The thing about Mr. Peanut Butter, he doesn't intend to hurt anyone. In fact, he genuinely wants people in his life to be happy. But wanting something isn't the same as understanding it, and that's where toxic positivity becomes dangerous. It creates a world where negative emotions are treated as problems to be fixed rather than experiences to be understood, and kind of prioritizes surface-level harmony over deep connection. And in relationships, that doesn't really work. By the end of the series, Mr. Peanut Butter finally starts to change. After his breakup with Pickles, he actually spends time alone, something he's never really done before. He actually reflects and acknowledges his patterns. He begins to understand that being a good partner isn't about making grand gestures or keeping things fun. It's about listening, about growing, and about being willing to sit with someone else. There's a maturity in his final interactions, especially with Diane. They're no longer trying to fix each other, they're just talking, honestly. And I think that is great character development. Please tell me your thoughts down below, like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!